Christie, and today I'm going to tell you my 2020 stats and how I did on my goals back in 2020 and my plans for my reading goals for this new year. Okay, I have a lot of information and charts and percentages and stuff to go through. So it's a lot. Let's see how I did in my 2020 reading. Did I meet my goals? What are some of my stats? So my main biggest goal, of course, every year is the GoodReads challenge. And in 2020, I challenged myself to read 200 books. And of course, who could have known? How could January 2020 have ever predicted the complete insanity that 2020 ended up being? However, when things go insane, I turn to books to help me manage my stress and my anxiety. And so I actually ended up reading a lot in 2020, a lot. I completely surpassed my goal of reading 200 books, and I actually read 416 books. Wait a minute, I think my calculations might be off. Is it 415 or 416? I can't tell. Wait a minute. I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. All of my papers here are telling me it's 415, but I thought for sure it was 416. Oh well, the world will never know. If you are worried about it, you can go on my GoodReads and you can just count them up. It's somewhere in that vicinity. I think I'm just gonna go with 415 because all of my stuff says 415 and all of the numbers add up when it's 415. So that's just what we're gonna call it. Now, I know that sounds like an insane number. That's more than a book a day. Are you completely insane? Did you do nothing but read? Do you never work or eat or sleep? However, keep in mind, 144 of those were picture books, and 39 of those were activity books or some sort of activity like a game or an origami book or something like that. So if you take out the picture books and the activity books, the real number is more around 232 books. So I still surpassed my goal by a little bit. 102 of those were nonfiction. I read 32 children's chapter books, 37 middle grade. I read 7 YA books, 5 adult fantasy, only 1 adult mystery. I also read 28 graphic novels, comics, or manga. And I read 20 classics. Hang on. 2 of those were actually middle grade children's classics, which I think I just put those in with the middle grade books when I counted these up. But technically, I read 22 classics, except a couple of them, I stuck them in with middle grade. So you could say that I read 35 middle grade and 22 classics, or you could say I read 37 middle grade and 20 classics. But I think I'd rather say I read 22 classics. Whatever, anyway, it's so hard when they fit into 2 different categories, and I'm like, which category do I put it in? I don't know. And if you add up all those numbers, that should come out to 415, I think. I hope. So with all that reading, you would think, of course, she must have met all her 2020 reading goals. But actually, I really didn't do that great on a lot of my goals. One goal that I did really great with was my goal to read 12 classics, and of course I surpassed that by quite a bit by reading 22 classics. My next goal was to read 50 of my Get Rid of It books, which are books that I own, but I'm just kind of I don't even know if I really care about reading that. I'll just try it out and read some of it and then maybe get rid of it. I actually failed this so spectacularly. I only read 8 of my Get Rid of It books. A few of them I ended up really liking and I kept them, and a few of them I just DNF'd or I just got rid of them. But only 8 out of my goal of 50. Wow, that's really sad. I started with such good intentions. Aw. My next goal was to finish 8 series because I have been on a series ban for several years now where I will not allow myself to start a new series until I've finished some of the series that I'm still in the middle of. I did fairly well on this. My goal was 8 series and I actually finished 7 series. I finished Mary Poppins, The Scarlet Pimpernel, The Borrowers, Pippi Longstocking, the Earthsea books, Septimus Heap, and Larklight. My next goal for 2020 was that I wanted to reread some old favorites, namely the Anne of Green Gables series, the Emily series, the Lord of the Rings, and the Chronicles of Narnia. The only one that I actually did reread was the Anne series. And I just kind of read one like every month or every once in a while. Really, really enjoyed rereading them. I mean, it was just so lovely to go back and revisit these old favorites. And Anne is just such a wonderful story. It's always a delight to read. However, Emily and Lord of the Rings and Narnia are going to have to be for 2021 goals. The next goal that I had for 2020, which I failed so spectacularly that it's actually ludicrous, was that I didn't want to read as many review copies. The thing is, in 2019, I read 171 review copies that publishers had sent me for free in exchange for a free and honest review. That was 61% of my reading in 2019. So then I made the goal for 2020, I'm gonna try to not read so many review copies and read more of my own books. I have tons of books already on my shelves that need to be read, but I'm not reading them because I'm taking in so many review copies from publishers. So I was like, okay, 2020, we're gonna read our own books. We're not gonna do so many review copies. And I actually did worse at this in 2020 than I did in 2019. In 2020, I read 326 review copies, making it 78% of my reading in 2020. 78% of the books that I read in 2020 were from publishers. I mean, obviously all books are from publishers. That just sounds stupid. Why did I say it like that? You know what I mean though? Books that publishers sent to me for review copies, not my own books that I already have on my shelves. 78% of the books were books that publishers sent to me. Oh my goodness. How did I fail so badly at this? Oh, I can't help it though. Man, they send you that catalog and you go looking through there and you just get excited about all the cool books that are coming out, you know? Anyway, that was just, I have got to do better next year about not accepting quite so many review copies, because that is just a ridiculous amount. I have so many books on my shelves already that I really need to focus on. So now let's take a look at my 2021 reading goals. Hopefully we have learned our lesson from what went so badly in 2020, and now we will make more reasonable goals, maybe, for 2021. And you see how I'm giggling and laughing as I even say that, because when have you ever known me to be reasonable about my goals? Never. So I'm going to set myself the exact same GoodReads challenge to read 200 books in 2021. That actually seems to be a pretty good number for me the last few years. And it seems like it keeps me on track pretty well. And if I see myself getting a little bit behind, I'm like, oh, better spend a couple hours reading. Let's get those numbers up. And it really motivates me. It makes me feel good about my reading. Some people don't like to really set a number goal of a certain amount that they want to read. And that's fine. You know, some people, it just doesn't motivate them. It just makes them feel too pressured. But for me, it really motivates me and makes me feel happy as I see those numbers going up. I get excited and I want to read more. So for me, that type of goal really works really well and I enjoy it. Another goal that I have is I want to continue to reread old favorites. The Emily of New Moon trilogy is on the top of that list. Another goal that I sort of had in mind in 2020, but it wasn't like a goal. It was more just like a wish, or like, maybe I'll do that, was I want to read more in Spanish. And this has been one of my goals for many years. You know, I want to try to read more books in Spanish so that I don't lose my bilingual knowledge, so that I don't, forget words. You know how they say if you don't use it, you lose it. And I feel like I just need to keep up with my vocabulary in Spanish and everything. And so I really want to read at least 4 Spanish books in 2021. And of course, every year I have a goal to read at least 12 classics, so 1 classic a month has been a goal that really works for me. And so I think I'm gonna continue with that 1 classic per month goal. Now last year, my goal with series was I wanted to finish these particular 8 series. And I almost got there. So that was, I think, pretty good because I had particular series in mind that only had a couple books left in them that would be quick to finish, Now, though, I don't really have a particular series where I'm like, I'm gonna finish this series, you know? So I'm just gonna say for my series goal, read 2 books from a series that you're trying to finish each month. So each month, I'm just kind of gradually working on various different series. Most of the series that I'm working on now, it's not like it's just a trilogy or something. It's like 12 books in the series. With Poirot, there's like 36 Poirot books or 32 or something like that. There's a ton of them. So no specific series that I'm trying to finish, but just a general working towards series. So trying to get some of those read. And my last goal for 2020 is that I want to read at least 12 Agatha Christie books. Speaking of Poirot. You know, when I looked at my stats for 2020 and realized that I had only read 1 mystery book. I read several middle grade mysteries, but only 1 adult mystery in the entire year. I was just really sad about that. Like, I love mysteries. I mean, I love cozy mysteries, you know, and Agatha Christie is just one of the best. So I actually found an Agatha Christie reading challenge. They have these different categories of Agatha Christie books. So one of them is like a story set in a grand house, a story set before World War II, a story featuring tea, a story featuring a garden, a story with a vicar, a story by the seaside, you know, all very typical settings for Agatha Christie. Another reason why I kind of want to make Agatha Christie a priority this year is because most of her books are pretty short. So they're quick reads, they're fun. I mean, most of them I probably read them like in one sitting. Just sit down for a couple hours and read through it. It's only 200 pages, you know? So that I feel like will be a sort of quick and easy goal that I can work towards and really feel happy that I've accomplished. What is that, like 6 or 7 different goals for 2021? Why do I do this to myself? I'm always biting off more than I can chew and like, I want to read this, I want to do this, this is my goal, this is my goal. I just have too many goals. We're gonna try though. We're gonna try, it's gonna be great. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know, how did you do with your 2020 goals? Did 2020 just completely mess up your reading, or did you find that you were actually reading more? And of course, let me know, what are some of your goals for 2021? Are you like me, where you are just setting way too many goals, really, but you just can't seem to help yourself because they all seem important. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.